final. Okay. And the third point is that most of the researcher, they tend to use single classifier such as multi-layer perceptron, naive Bayes, decision tree, and so on. And then we would like to combine them by using the assemble method. So assemble method is a well-known kind of approach that being used by previous research on how to combine classifier from different kind of algorithms. Okay, so this is the research question that we want to sort of solve. Okay, I think back to the research problem just now. So we want to find what are the most significant features that contribute to the heart disease prediction, and also we want to know whether the assemble stacking method that we want to propose could improve the accuracy or the performance of the prediction of heart disease. And finally, when we combine the feature selections and the assemble stacking, does it improve the overall performance of our research? Okay. Okay, so this is our research question and research objective mapping. I think I already mentioned from the previous slide. So from the research question, we have three objectives. And the first one, we want to propose the model. Which based on the hybrid feature selection and assemble stacking methods. And the next research objective is to develop and propose model of heart disease prediction based on the hybrid feature selection and assemble stacking method. And finally, we want to evaluate the performance of our proposed model. Okay. So a bit on the literature review. Okay, so this is the previous research that been done on the dataset. Most of the previous research, they are concentrating, or they are using a single classifier. Like the first one, okay, they are using the LR, KNN, decision tree, random forest, and the performance of the prediction we considered as not really up to the classifying level. Okay, and then from the research, we could find this research gap, which is related to our research problem just now. Okay, so based on the current research, the majority of the study normally use all the features, and the limitation is not all the features are useful. Like we said just now, if we include features which is not important or relevant, it might deteriorate or it might reduce the performance accuracy. So the feature selection method is needed to improve the prediction performance. Okay, the second one is that most of the previous research normally focus on the single classifier, resulting in a low accuracy. So we want to propose the assemble method. Some current work use this assemble method, but they also utilize all the classifiers. Okay, our idea is that one is not enough. Many is good, but if we have we can sort of like have a optimum subset. Let's see, in our research, we have tried various classifier, but we don't want to use all the classifier as the combination of our final model. So we want to find the most optimum combination of classifier. It might be 3, it might be 4, it might be 6, based on the experiments. So we can say that not all classifier give a contribution to the prediction accuracy. This has been discovered as a constraint, and a group of low performance classifier normally will reduce the performance. Okay. Okay, this is our research methodology. Okay, we started with the collection of the data set. We take it from the UCI data set for the heart disease, and then we are using the Anaconda, using the Jupyter as our framework, doing the programming, the data trimming, pre-processing, and so on, and we use two kind of algorithms to select the most optimal features, which is the chi-square and also the ANOVA. And then this attribute, once we selected the important attribute, we fit into the 10 base classifier So this is the assemble of classifier. Then the second level of assemble, we call it assemble stacking. So we use the output from the first layer of assemble stacking as input to our second assemble stacking. Where we have a logistic regression, SVC and MLP as our second stack of assemble stacking. And then this is the factor that we use from the data set, okay, like slope, set, CP, all these are the factors that consider as a contributing factor to the heart disease. By using our feature selection algorithm, we found that only five, we could reduce the attribute up to five, the most important features that contribute to the heart disease prediction, okay, which is the TALAC, old peak, CA, exchange, the NCP. So these only five attributes that we will be fed into our final model, okay. And this is what we call the hybrid feature selection. Okay, we use the chi-square and also the ANOVA. So these both chi-square and ANOVA is proposed because it could give us a well-balanced mix of two different type of data, which is the categorical data and a numerical data. So the purpose of feature selection is to identify the most important features, and we found, like the previous slide, there are five most important features that could be used for our experiments. Okay. And this is the assemble staking. Okay, the first assemble consists of 10 assembles. Okay, we use the most commonly used classifier in the previous research, and we use the output from the first base classifier as an input to the second staking, which is the beta classifier. We use four here: logistic regression, support vector machine, multi-layer perceptron, and naive Bayes as a second layer of assemble methods. Okay. And the third one is when we combine, we found that the final model in our framework is the combination of the first, the optimum features that we have found in previous step, which is using the ANOVA and chi-square, and we combine it with to the optimum combination of classifier. So we have actually 10 base classifier, but we are not going to use all those combination, but we only use some of the classifier that will produce the best performance. Okay, so this is the output from the research. Okay, result based on the base classifier, we found that we have logistic regression with 85.24 and also random forest, a naive Bayes decision tree. And among the base classifier, the best performance is by multi-layer perceptron with 88.52. This is the performance of single classifier in our base model. Okay, and then when we use the feature selection, okay, we found that the performance of the assemble staking have improved the overall performance. Okay, when we combine the assemble staking and the feature selection, we came out with the performance of 93.44 using the naive Bayes as a second layer of assemble staking. Okay, so our experiment shows that what we aims in the beginning, whether the performance of a classifier could be improved if we select only a relevant classifier and if we employ the assemble staking. So this result shows that the performance of the assemble definitely will improve the performance of the overall. Okay, so in the conclusion, we could say is that Since the heart disease considered as one of the deadliest disease in the world, there is a need to improve the performance of the heart disease, and we could use the machine learning algorithm as one of the approach to help the medical officers or the doctor to make an early prediction, so improve that this kind of framework could be used in order to improve the overall performance. Okay. So based on our research objective, there are three main contribution that we have come out, which is we have proposed a hybrid feature selection. We can from the experiment we have selected the most relevant features by using the chi-square and ANOVA. We also propose assemble stacking method. We have utilized the two stacking, okay, the first layer and the second layer. And the third one is by integrating the feature selection and assemble method, we have come out with a very good model or framework for the final prediction. Okay, so this is the research contribution. Like I said just now, is slightly the same thing. Okay, we have proposed a hybrid feature selection. We have proposed a meta classifier as assemble stacking, and we have combined the feature selection algorithms and assemble stacking to produce the final models. Okay, I think that's all that wrap our research for this project, and I hope that it can give some ideas for all participants today by taking into consideration that a single classifier you cannot claim one classifier is better than others. So our approach is we want to combine various classifier, but we don't want to use all the combination. We want to find the most optimum classifier. And also the second point is that not all features are the same. Some of the features in any kind of prediction might be irrelevant. So there is a need for us to do the feature selection algorithm to find the most optimum features, which in the end will produce the optimum result. I think, Prof, that's all my short sharing session today, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much for Prof. Muhammad Khalid. I think very interesting research for me. Coincidentally, one of my doctoral paper was about stacking ensemble.
All right.
Yeah, I'm combined random forest classifier and support vector machine in the first layer and voting classifier in the meta layer. And
Okay.
the result were indeed better than baseline model, of
Mhm.
course.
Yeah, yeah.
But Prof. Muhammad Khalid Awang, I have question about your research. I'm
Okay.
still curious. Uh, Looking at the result, there is clearly an improvement when we using stacking ensemble. Uh,
Mhm.
the question is, how do we choose a model for stacking ensemble? Because there are many model for classifier.
Okay. You mean how to come out with the optimum combination of classifier?
Yes.
Okay, okay, that's actually we propose a soft set. Soft set is like a feature reduction algorithms where you could find the diversity between the combination. So let's say you have 10 classifier, you could have 2 to the power of 10 combination, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and
Oh,
so which combination will definitely give you the best answer? So the best answer normally, okay, assemble is behaving like we are in a meeting. We don't want the next person, your left and right person, take for example, give the same answer as yours. You want to eliminate somebody that giving the same answer.
Ah,
You want diversity. So soft set is an algorithms that able to find the most diverse combination of the subset of the classifier. There are some other methods. They call it like assemble pruning. So what we propose is they using the soft set where at the end probably you could find an optimum classifier. It could be like from the 10, it could be 3, 4, or 5. But if you have if three combination compared to 5 giving the same answer, of course you only need 3 combination, which is more efficient in terms of resource sharing, Prof. I think inshallah,
okay.
Prof, in future we could do some collaboration, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Muhammad Khalid Awang, for your great presentation, I think. So now we go to next presenter, maybe. Okay, for the next presenter is Ida Rosari from UDB. Ida, you are ready? Or operator, can you play the video? Sorry, I can hear sound.
Thank you for the time, moderator. I will introduce myself. My name is Ida Rosari from Information System Unibi. I will begin my presentation research about exploring the effect of information quality and service quality on acceptance of the TAM model on the use the Shopee application on mobile device. First, abstract. This study examines Shopee e-commerce acceptance amongst Unibi students, particular millennial, using the technology acceptance model TAM with information quality and service quality as external factor. Data we are collect through an online questionnaire with 177 respondents and analysts using PLS SAM in Smart PLS 3.0. Results show that information quality and service quality significant influence perceived ease of use by 80.5% and perceived usefulness by 86.7%. In turn, perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness together influence behavioral intention to use. Shopee buys 77.9%. Next, background. During the COVID-19 pandemic, shopping activity of the Indonesian people shifted to e-commerce platform, with Shopee become one of the most popular applications, especially among the millennial generation. This change in shopping behavior creates a need to measure user acceptance level towards Shopee. This study used the technology acceptance model TAM as an approach with external variable of information quality and service quality, influence, perceived usefulness, and perceived ease of use, as well as their impact on behavioral intention and actual system use. Next, research object. The Shopee application as an e-commerce platform has become the primary choice for the Indonesian community, especially the millennial generation. However, this research focused on university student from the University of Informatics and Business Indonesia (UNIBI), who actively use Shopee for online shopping. It examines whether Shopee has maintained user specification regarding the quality of information and service quality. This research is relevant to be measured with technology acceptance using the technology acceptance model TAM. Next, research stakes. Number 1, problem formulation. Number 2, literature review and literature study. Number 3, hypothesis. 4, finding population and sample. 5, instrument development. 6, instrument testing. 7, data collection. 8, data analysis. 9, conclusion and suggestion. Next, conclusion of research data processing. The conclusion of the data processing result of the research will present the relationship between the hypothesis and the testing result of 9 from the specification result. The hypothesis is that to be accepted if the testing and a significancy table, then its effect is significant. To see the direction of the effect, whatever positive or negative, it can be observed from the original sample. Next, conclusion and suggestion. Conclusion: the quality of information and service quality have a significant positive effect on perceived ease of use, 18.5%, and perceived usefulness, 18.7%. Perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness is significant positive effect. Behavioral intention use. Behavioral intention use, significant positive effect. Actual system use. The effect of perceived ease of use on behavioral intention use is small, indicating a need for improvement in ease of use. The suggestion Shopee needs to enhance user friendliness to strengthen its influence on the intention to use. Further research can add other external factors for more specific result. Thank you your attention. That is all presentation I can give. I give it back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Ida Rosari. Very interesting research that it's about technology acceptance model. Okay, I have one question actually. What methods did you use in your research, and why did you use those methods?
Okay, thank you for the question, moderator. I would like to provide my answer. The method I use in this study is the technology acceptance model, TAM, which employs several constructs, namely perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, and behavioral intention to use. The results show that perceived ease of use score 18.5% and perceived usefulness score 86.7%. Moreover, both perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness significant and positively affect perceived ease of use, which score 77.9%. That concludes my answer. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you. Good answer. Okay, I think it's enough for presenter Ida Rosari, and we go to next presenter is Sharvina. Okay, for operator, can you play Sharvina video?
Sharvina Putri Zahira. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elvina Putri Zaira. I'm from Department of Information System at Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. Today, I will present my research entitled Performance Analysis of Regression Models for Predicting Product Sales Price at PT XYZ Bandung. This slide explains the background of my research, where PT XYZ is a company that provides pneumatic systems for various industries. With increasing competition and growing economic trends, accurate sales price prediction is crucial. This research applies machine learning regression algorithm as part of data mining technique used to support better decision making. Next, research object. The object of this research is the sales data of PT XYZ Bandung products in 2023, which amount to 2,044 data. Next, research stage. The study began with determining the research title, identifying the problem, followed by a literature review and data collection. And next, the process continued with variable identification, data preprocessing, and exploratory data analysis. Several regression models were then constructed, tested, and evaluated to find most optimal model. Finally, conclusions were drawn based on the results obtained. Next, model use. There are 5 models tested in my research, namely linear regression, random forest regression, decision tree regression, extreme gradient boosting or XGBoost regression, and support vector regression. Next, finding and discussion. This table shows the results of the regression model. We can see of the 5 models used, linear regression performed best with R-square equal 0.99, MSE equal 3.98, RMSE equal 1.99, May equal 1.99, and MAPI equal 0%. This indicates a very high level of accuracy. Meanwhile, SVR showed the opposite result. Next, finding and discussion. Here are true images, scatter plot, and learning curve. The scatter plot shows the predict values on the x-axis and the actual values on the y-axis. Each point represents one observation. The points from a straight line from bottom left to top right, indicating a strong positive correlation between predicted and actual values. There are no visible outliers, and the points align closely with the regression line, which suggests that the linear regression model has good prediction accuracy. This strong linear relationship shows that the model successfully captures the connection between the independent and dependent variable. And the learning curve. This learning curve plots the training score in the red line and cross-validation score green line. Against the amount of training data, both lines appear flat and parallel as the training data increase, showing that the model learns effectively. The training and validation scores are very close, with an R-square value close to 1.0, indicating high accuracy. There is no sign of overfitting or underfitting, which means the linear regression model performs well and generalize effectively on new data. Next, conclusion and suggestion. Most regression models predicted the product sales price at PT XYZ Bandung accurately, with R-square values close to 0.99. However, support vector regression or SVR performed poorly with an R-square of negative 0.30. Therefore, linear regression is recommended for future planning and decision making, while models like SVR should be improved or replaced. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. It has been a great honor to share my research with all of you today. I would like to close this presentation with a quote. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching. Once again, thank you very much for your attention. Have a great day and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Good presentation and good quote, I think. Sharfina, I have some question, actually two question. First is what methods were used in this study in other than the 5 model you use? And have you ever tried other models? And what were the results?
Okay, thank you for your question, Mr. Alamsyah. Let me answer your question. So, in this study, I used the regression prediction method, which is used to predict the value of the dependent variable based on the value of the independent variable. And then for the question of whether you have tried other models and how the results are, yes, I have used other models, namely AdaBoost or Adaptive Booster and K-Neurosniper or KNN as a comparison. But the performance results are still not optimal, so I chose a model that is more suitable for my research.
Okay. Enough, Sharfina. Thank you. Okay, so we go to next presenter, third presenter. Muhammad Rizky Shifas, Bandung. Are you ready, Rizky? Rizky, are you ready? Okay, if you are ready, time is yours.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rizky Nursifa from Institute Teknologi Nasional Bandung. I will present my article under title is Analysis of Gear-Pinion Shaft Failure in a 660 megawatt coal-fired power plant for Fraser Mill. This slide shows abstract that indicates the operational status of the shaft over 9 years. The shaft has experienced damage and will be testing the material verification and failure analysis to determine the failure mechanism and provide recommendation to prevent similar incident from happening again. Okay, introduction. The shaft gear pinions play a crucial role in transmitting rotation within the mill pressure of a system. Its performance directly affected the efficiency of a coal grinding and overall power generation. Failure of this component, especially due to fatigue, poses serious risk to operation reliability. Thus, a crack often develop undetected, making early failure identification difficult. This study failure occurring in a 660 megawatt after 9 years of continued operation, cash operation, and cost loss for the company. Operation parameters include 6,300 volt motor voltage and 999 RPM speed and 80.5 ampere average current. Understanding the failure mechanism is prevent future incident and improve system reliability. And this is a research methodology, have a 2 method and 1 mechanical verification and 2 failure analysis. In the material verification, have a 2 is a chemical composition testing, use positive material identification, and second hardness testing use lip hardness method and the failure analysis have two in one visual inspection and photography examination. In the photography examination, one optical microscope and two scanning electron microscope. In the end, is a mechanism of failure occurrence. Next is a preparation of the sample. This is image is a soft side opinion, and this image is soft side bearing. A sample were cut from the damaged area and will be observed using an optical microscope and SEM. The red box for the optical microscope sample and the desert box show the similar cut for photography SEM. Okay, next result and discussion. The next material verification, where the chemical composition based on this test result is met with AISI 4040, and there are no deviation. For the hardness test, the average result obtained is 34.78, which is met with AISI 4040 standard, where the range is 13 until 36. This is a failure analysis. This image is a visual inspection on the gear pinion side shaft, so a fracture area with a dent. See in the yellow circle, and there's no correction product on the fracture surface. This image is an optical microscope, and this image is the same fractography. In the two image show initial crack and a beach mark. Beach mark and initial crack in the photography result are one of the macro characteristic of fatigue failure caused by dynamic loads. And next, the mechanism of failure occurrence. Based on the photography result, both using an optical microscope and SEM show very clear beach mark on the fracture surface of the both sample. Thus, it can be confirmed that a failure mechanism occurring in the shaft is caused by fatigue. The fatigue failure mechanism is due to the dynamic load received by component during operation, which is initiated by occurrence of an initial crack. The cause the failure can be explained as follows. The failure begins with the initial and then crack or propagation occur. Based on the visual inspection result, it is shown that initial crack was caused by mechanical damage to shaft. The crack propagation occurred due to dynamic load acting on the shaft. Crack propagation can also be influenced by torque on the shaft, where the torque is affected by electric motor current. This is a formula for the power of a 3-phase electric motor. This is a formula. After calculation, the power output is found to be 1,402. After 10, can find the torque using a power already obtained, which is formula. From the formula provided, the torque value is found to be 13,405.17. After obtaining the torque, the shear stress calculation is performed, which will then compare its endurance limits, and this is a formula for shear stress damage. And obtained shear stress damage is 20.22 MPa. This stress will not cause the material to experience fatigue failure because it still belong to fatigue strength limit of AISI 4040 material. However, the unstable current the electric motor will cause the generated torque to fluctuate, which can accelerate crack propagation. And this is a conclusion. The one material verification result show that the gear pinion shaft material that's a violet conform the ISI 4040 specification standard. And two, visual inspection results show the crack and plastic deformation on the gear pinion shaft set around the fracture area indicate that the shaft fracture was initiated by initial crack on the gear pinion shaft side due to mechanical damage. The propagation of the crack due to dynamic load on the gear pinion shaft originates from the current fluctuates generated by the electric motor. This is evidenced by calculating that the maximum shear stress value on the shaft due to torque is 20.22 MPa, which is much lower than the ISI 4040 endurance limit value of 563.8 MPa. However, the usable current in the electric motor causes the torque on the shaft to fluctuate, thereby accelerating the crack propagation and ultimately resulting the fracture as evidenced by benchmark on the shaft fracture surface. And this is a recommendation. The soft starter should be active or reinstalled on the motor to prevent current surge that can contribute the magnitude of the shock load during startup but do not dampen electrical current fluctuation during operation. We use a variable frequency drive to dampen electrical current surge during startup and also to dampen electrical current fluctuation during operation. 3. Sub vibration must be monitored comprehensively. Visual inspection and penetrant testing should be concluded on the new shaft before operation to detect surface defect. A more comprehensive inspection to detect surface and subsurface defect on the shaft can be performed using ultrasonic testing. This is for more information. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good presentation, I think. So, Muhammad Rizky Nur Shiva, I have seen your result for your research, but my question is, how do you evaluate? How do you evaluate or test the results you get so that they are truly good? How do you evaluate it?
Okay, thank you, Professor Noor Alamsyah. This is my question. Sorry. Okay, my evaluate is the stop starter is should be affected to restart on the motor to prevent current surges that contribute to magnitude of the shock of during startup, and to use variable of frequency drive to dampen the electrical current. And three, you can sub vibration must to be monitored and comprehensive. And four, uh, you can visual infection and use depenetrant before use the shaft. Okay, thank you. This is my answer.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Muhammad Rizky Nur Shiva. Okay, now we next go to last presenter. Last presenter is Athanasius Angga SW Manurip. Okay,
Okay. Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm hereby to presenting my research about computer vision entitled Detection of Cat Expression Using Convolutional Neural Network. Okay, let's begin. So, first of all, for my mentor as well as my lecturer, Mr. Marwondo and Miss Venia Restrevadana Setiara, thank you so much for letting this happen, for teaching me and guiding me. And then For my profile my name is Athanasius Angga S.W. Manurip. This is my student ID number, and I'm student of informatics from Faculty of Informatics and Technology, Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. Okay. So for the abstract of my research I'm utilizing a convolutional neural network to automatically classify catch expression from images. However, the custom CNN model demonstrates limited performance, achieving a final prediction accuracy within less than 50%. We will discuss about this deeper in the discussion. So the introduction, face recognition are pretty common things for human, but how about cat's expression recognition? Most people able to read adult expression, but not with cat's expression. Maybe we all kind of agree about this one. So furthermore, cat's expression sometimes indicate severe disease, which could be vital either for the cat nor for the owner. So my research is expected to open a new window of opportunity for reading cat expression using artificial intelligence. So for this research, I'm focusing in three research problem. The first one is how to build a CNN model that capable for using in cat expression recognition, and the second one is how to evaluate the results and the best way to achieve the conclusion, and the third one is CNN capability for cat cat expression detection can be proven. So this is my three research problem. And then we are having at research flow. First of all, I'm doing a literature review, whether for the CNN itself or the interpretation for the cat expression cases. So, yeah. And then I'm doing a data scraping, which I'm utilizing a RoboFlow app because of it a lot of data set option. And then I'm doing a pre-processing, augmentation, and the rest of the process in Google Collaborator. I'm not using a RoboFlow app for this pre-processing except for the auto-rotate and the splitting for the train, validate, and test. So after pre-processing, augmentation, and integrate the model, which is a CNN itself, I'm doing a transfer learning technique for hoping the better accuracy, and the new model I'm doing is MobileNet V2. After that, I'm trying validate and test and evaluate the result. So that's all for my research flow, which I'm using a systematic approach with data scraping and analysis. So for the research itself, the base theory of this research is uh, uh, CAT Facial Action Code System or CATFAX, which has been done by Scott and Florker, which actually this CATFAX has been researched for a long time ago, but in this research that has been published from Scott and Florker in Behavioral Journal, uh, they say cat also have expression like us human. They proving it by placing some landmarks in their faces, not physically but virtually, of course, and then recording them, and then record every movement those landmarks makes when the cats makes some expression. In total, they got 276 total expression, total combination of expression, but I only focus in four classes of expression because this is the most frequent shown expression of the cats. Okay, so that's my base theory. So the dataset I'm using, as I said before, I'm using a RoboFlow. Uh, this app make possible to also split the dataset into train, valid, and test set. In total, I got 394 total images for this research. And as soon as the screen, the preprocessing auto orient only is applied, and no augmentation at all, and no other preprocessing also at all. And for the splitting images, this is the class I'm using. The first one is stress takut, the second one is more agonistic, third one is normal neutral, and the fourth one is non-affiliative. Uh, this is analogically based on the table I've shown in the slide before. Okay, let's continue. So as I said before, the augmentation that were used in this research has been achieved by using the Google Collaboratory. The augmentation I'm using, there is a four. The first one is random rotation. The second one is horizontal flip between -15 to +15 degree. So uh, the third one is contrast random setting, and the fourth one is blur up to 1.5 pixel. Okay, so for the result of the first iteration itself, unfortunately only got pretty low results, which is 0.45 in accuracy. And then the second run with 150 iteration also got 0.45 in total accuracy. They don't different at all, especially in accuracy. They just like different in F1 score actually, but that doesn't getting better also. And then for the confusion matrix, this is the first one with 100 iteration. As shown on screen, the marah agonistic doesn't show a pretty well point, even though the others diagonal got 6 and 5, but that doesn't uh, present a good one. And then the second one also not getting any better too. The marah agonistic Olympiad 3 and the stress takut, which is from 5 drop to 3 in the 150 iteration. And then for the demo itself, I've tried the trend model of CNN itself, and it only got 47.47 in confidence score. So not very good. So for the conclusion, the result of using CNN deep learning model for the cat expression detection has shown less promising performance of the model itself for the task. With only 45% in total accuracy for predicting the images, CNN needs a huge amount of data and a lot of consideration for using it. It is recommended for using more advanced pre-trained model like YOLO, for example, for better results, or maybe ResNet or other more advanced pre-trained model in deep learning. I guess that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your research and good presentation. I have seen your results, but I'm still curious about your methods. So, my question is, what methods did you use in your research, and what were the results?
Okay, thank you, sir. So about the method I'm using in my, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you, sir. About the method I'm using in my research is uh, convolutional deep learning classification method, which in commonly known as quantitative method. Maybe because I'm scraping the dataset from the RoboFlow app itself, and the result is show not very promising result though, but uh, by knowing the results, I'm successfully measured the performance of the CNN model itself if applied in this kind of task or job for classify the cat expression itself. So even though the presentation is not that high, but I'm successfully measuring the performance of the algorithm itself in this task. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Enough, I think. So, before we end this session, we will take a group photo. So, please open your cameras and we will take a group photo. Prof. Muhammad Khalid Awang. Okay. I'm very pleased and nice to meet you, Prof. Muhammad Khalid.
Nice to meet you too, Prof. Inshallah, we meet again, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Okay, we will photo. So I will take a photo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. So On behalf of the ITERDIS 2025 committee, I would like to thank all speaker and participant for your valuable contribution to today's session. We look forward to your active participation in the upcoming session. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the conference. Bila Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang semuanya.
Thank you, sir.